guys, welcome to Legit Fishing. Today I'm going to show you the basics of a bait caster. When it comes to bait casters, many people are like, there's so many big words. Spool tension, drag, brakes, all this stuff, the spool. Bait caster is just a big word. So I'm going to be teaching you what things are and what they do. Let's start out with spool tension. That was the one that really confused me when I was getting a bait caster. But all you need to know is spool tension is you can tighten it. It's right by the drag, which is right here. I'll talk about that later in this video. And the spool tension is right here. So spool tension knob. You twist it, you can loosen it, you can feel it getting looser, and sometimes you can feel it getting tighter. You can experiment with that. If you get it loose enough, it might pop off. I've never really gotten that far. And if you tighten it, it gets really tight. So, spool tension, what it does is, if you have your lure out, and you have spool tension, how I have it right now, really tight, the lure won't come down. I've pressed the button, and the lure does not go down. I can shake it, it doesn't go down. But if I loosen the spool tension, the lure starts to make its way down. Just like that. So if you get it super loose, the lure can fly down there sometimes, which you don't want, because that results in bird's nests. So, spool tension is like how fast your spool spins. And brakes are like brakes. They just slow it down. If you want to cast out there and not get a bird's nest and not have to feather the line and stop it before it hits the water, what you need to do is you need to get your spool tension. So when I drop the lure, so you got to loosen it. If it doesn't drop, you got to loosen it. So you got to loosen it till it drops at a pretty fast pace. But when it hits the ground, it doesn't result in a minor bird's nest. So, as you can see, I'm going to drop it to the ground. And I didn't get a bird's nest. But if you loosen it too much and you drop it to the ground, you can get a little bit of a bird's nest. Frogs aren't really the best. This is a very light lure. You can't really get that bad on something like this. Spool tension is like that. You want to have it loose enough so it drops to the ground, but tight enough so it doesn't result in a bird's nest. And once you have it like that, you can cast it out there with your brakes, which I'll go into in a second. So brakes. On a baitcaster, baitcasters have brakes. You can have it on free, which makes the spool spin and never stop. So think about brakes on a bike. If you spin the wheel, you can squeeze the brakes and have the wheel stop. If you put it on free, it's like not even touching the brakes. But if you put them on 10, it's like you spin the wheel and you have it like very tight, but not enough to like stop the wheel. So think of it as a bike. This is the wheel and this is the brakes. So if you have it on free, it'll just keep going. I would recommend putting it on 8. So that's where you can have enough stop so that it stops, but then have enough so that it can cast out there a pretty decent distance. And if you get comfortable more and you can like feather the line, which means you just can keep it from getting a bird's nest, then you can move it to like 4 or something in front of it. So that's it for brakes, and let's go into drag. So drag, what you do for drag is pretty much if you put your thumb on this and try to spin this, that's how tight your drag is. So if you get like a 10-pounder and you have your drag super loose, it'll just fight and just keep pulling your line. You can just, like, look at this. I haven't even clicked the button. I can just pull my line. I can even reel without my line going in. So you want your drag, I have my drag pretty tight so that you can reel and so that you can pull in the big ends. So that's all. Thank you.